You're listening to We're Talking Drums, creating conversations with the world's top drummers in the most extreme genres. This episode is brought to you by Los Cabos Drumsticks, Canada's #1 choice for drumsticks. They provide the wood you need to make the beats you deserve. Los Cabos Drumsticks. Now with your host, Corey Hoffing.
What is going on? Welcome to another episode of the We're Talking Drums podcast. This is episode 72, and I am pumped. My band Letharo has just announced a new record, Chasing Euphoria, out March 15th on Atomic Fire Records. Pre-orders are going now. Get them while they're hot. Also dropped a brand new video for the song Time to Rise. Click the link below and check that out. Big thanks to everybody who has supported us so far to get us to this point. It's a very exciting time in our career, and we will see you on the road next year. Okay? Secondly, here, we got a Patreon community. Everybody who's a part of it, you are absolutely amazing, and thank you very much. If you are new to this podcast, our Patreon is only $2 a month. You get all the episodes early, plus we have exclusive content being created by myself as well as our guests. Any questions you have, drum-related or not drum-related, realistically, toss them in our Patreon, and we will answer them on each episode. Okay? How's that? If you don't have $2 a month, which I get, this economy, it's ridiculous. Price of drum heads, price of drum sticks for that matter, too. It's insane. So if you don't, then please, if you can go to wherever you are streaming, give us a sub, give us a follow, give us a 5-star rating. It helps the podcast reach the most amount of people it possibly can. Drop a comment. You know, if you can comment, do that. You know, we appreciate the support in any way, shape, or form. So thank you in advance. Absolutely amazing. We also have an Instagram if you want to head over there at We're Talking Drums. Drop a follow. Send me a message. Say hello. You know, it's all love here, baby. So, aside from that, I just want to say a big thank you to Los Cabos Drumsticks. They've been a supporter of this podcast since day one. Absolutely amazing. Big thanks to them. That's all I'm going to say there. Go try a pair of Los Cabos Drumsticks. Best sticks on the market, in my humble opinion. Okay? This week's guest, we're getting into her. This is the thick of it now. This week's guest is the incredible Mike Malyan from Monuments. Okay? Me and Mike met up while Monuments was on tour with JinJer in Toronto. We barely got to do this episode. They had some issues with their RV, but Mike got that dealt with. He was like, I got to get this stuff done so I can talk some drums. All right. He is an absolute gem of a human. We had a phenomenal talk. We talked about the production of their latest record, In Statis, and working with producer George Lever. Talked about his pre-production and how he uses Beat Scholar to help him figure out the polyrhythms and polymeters for the ridiculous drumming that he does. And we also talked about him diving into the drum education realm of things with his website, Malyan Drum Academy. So, without further ado on this one, here's my conversation with Mike Malyan of Monuments. Mike Malyan, welcome to the We're Talking Drums podcast. How you doing today, man?
I'm great, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Heck
I'm doing
yes.
okay, man. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if this was going to happen.
Man,
You know?
yeah, you know what it's like touring days, trying to find the time, trying to see what can fit in between where and how and why. But we make it happen whenever we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. You guys had a little bit of mishap with a tire on your
We
your
lost
bus
our
there?
we had a damaged tire wall. We noticed it thankfully before it blew, so we had a emergency tire assist come out and sort us out. But you can't tell them when to show up, so they were like, "Yeah, you've just got to be available all day." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, it'll be fine." With like the only plan being maybe to like as I go on stage, give my phone to my merch guy and be like, please do that if you can, like because because we don't have a working tire by the end of the day, we're screwed. So
Yeah, exactly, right?
yeah,
And
long
you-
drives tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you off to next?
I believe it's Milwaukee or Winnipeg.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
No, I think it's Milwaukee first, then
Yeah,
you're up to
yeah.
Winnipeg. Have you guys ever done
I can't
Winnipeg? 'Cause
remember.
you guys doing like Winnipeg and
Yeah, I think done Winnipeg in the past. I don't have many memories of it. It's anything that's in the middle is blurred. It's
Yeah.
like we're
Yeah.
at like 100% Gaussian blur mode. We're like completely. It's all just every day is kind of the same. Like
Oh,
I remember,
man.
I more remember the cities where I see my friends these days.
Yeah.
Than I remember the friend that I saw who lives in one of those places because it's just there's only so much room for like the gent and everything else. And the gent since I did the Tesseract Portal session, a lot of my friends' names disappeared from my mind.
Oh, yeah?
It's like
Yeah.
it feels like there's a limited capacity in there.
yeah, like something has to go
Yeah.
to get that next riff in.
It's like Rick from Rick and Morty when he enters the alien body and he's like, by the way, I didn't have room for all my genius in here, so I left you with all these useless skills, and then goes into the other guy's body.
Yeah, and dude, like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, those are just provinces that you don't want to be in.
Really?
You know, I remember doing cross Canada tours, and one time we didn't even stop in Saskatchewan. Just drive right through it, get it through it as quick as possible. It's so boring there,
Right.
man. Yeah, Manitoba's not much better.
No, I guess, yeah. But I mean, it's somewhere we're going to have some fun wherever we go, right? We're just going to play and
Yeah.
make the most of it. If there are people who care enough to show up, then we'll play and we'll have a good
Oh
time.
yeah, like shows are great.
Yeah.
Shows are wonderful.
That's all
when
we
you're
get
in the
to see
venue.
anyway. We don't get time for anything else.
Yeah, but dude, the drive. Do you guys have a driver?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
getting some sleep at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best, man. Because like back in the day, doing the van tours, it was just, like this is our home country. So I don't know if you guys did a lot of like just UK tours or anything. You guys are pretty
Yeah.
close.
We've done quite a lot of stuff. This is my third American tour. I think it's the band's sixth. I had to take 5 years out because the passenger van kind of helped screw my back and my hip up so bad I had to take 5 years off and then get surgery and then come back. But like other than that, I've probably done like 40, 50 tours by now surely, which is just a lot. I started when I was 18 and 31 now, so it's a lot of too many tours.
Yeah. That's a lot of time on the road.
Yeah.
But your cities in the UK are a lot closer together.
They
right?
are. Yeah,
like you only have like a couple hour drives between.
Yeah, so if you do a regional tour, you're really like, hey, I could see you 1 hour drive or 2 hour drive or 3 hour
Right?
drive away. It's
Yeah.
like, and they're still moaning about how far away it is, and we're like,
Yeah.
guys drive like 8 hours in the States to make it happen. You know,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on, you can jump on a train. You can do this. Come on.
Yeah,
Go
like
to hotel.
our last tour, it was like 16-hour drives. We had one that was 11 hours, like next day.
Yeah.
So, and we're
that's
leaving at like midnight. Loading is at noon. We have 12 hours to do an 11-hour drive. Like, just tell the tour manager we're going to be late.
Yep, literally.
Like,
there's no
just-
two ways about it.
Yeah,
It's just happening.
yeah, that's it. But like in Canada too, like to get from Toronto to Winnipeg, if you don't go through the States, that's 27 hours. It's rough here for a band that like if you're not going.
So
into
if
the
we were
States
going
and doing it,
directly to Winnipeg, it would be 27 hours.
27 hours, yeah. It's 24 hours just to get out of the province. Yeah, it sucks here. It's brutal. Like a local
spot.
band touring.
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll be fine. We got a driver.
Yeah. No,
we
you
got,
guys are mint.
We got Nintendo Switches and
Yeah.
laptops. We'll be fine. Yeah.
That's sick. So tour is going well so far. You guys are about a week into this run.
Yeah.
You guys are out with JinJer.
Yeah.
And then you guys have a bunch of headlining dates after this, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
JinJer have been such amazing hosts. It's been incredible. They've been fans of ours for a long time. We've been fans of theirs for a long time. So the invite from them is amazing. So yeah, they took us out on the dates in between their tour that they did with Disturbed. So they've done like the other half of the country or like the continent to make it work, and then we've done our own half a tour to make it work, bringing out For the Fallen Dreams and Varsity as well, which is going to be wicked.
Awesome.
We've done a couple of headliners already. While Blue Ridge was happening, we were doing our own shows, and then nothing happened at Blue Ridge, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Awkward.
You guys were a part of that, eh?
Well, we never got the invite, or I think we got the invite and the fee was too short or something, and we couldn't make it happen. So
half the fest got canceled anyway.
Yeah, so it was like, okay, we ended up being some of the only people playing shows that weekend, which we did not expect. But we had two really, really great shows with like local bands. One of them we had like 4 local bands. The other one we had this sick band called Tensor. They came and played with us, and they sounded like kind of like an 8-bit music meets with like intervals, but more like I Built the Sky prog energy, if you know those artists. They were really sick, really nice sounding band, really lovely people. I got a little cap from them, and they were a good discovery.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, Intervals are local boys here. So.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, sick. I got into them probably around the same time I got into you guys, a couple years back. And
Fuck yeah, dude.
I've never really been like a gent fan. Like I grew up on power metal,
Wise Man, it's shit.
That type of stuff. And then I when your last full length came out, I loved it from the get go. Like that's everything.
Amazing. Just thank you, man.
Yeah, like a lot of it. Also the production. Working with George Lever, I think that was a good choice.
I'm really happy with it. We did mix tests with Nolly, with I think we sent it to Ackle and he didn't know what to do with it. And then we hit it to George, and we don't like doing mix tests, and producers don't like doing mix tests. But
of course,
when he said it to George as a test, he just said like, well, screw me just hitting blindly. He sat awake, talked to me about 3 a.m, asked me what all my favorite things were. And no one had really jumped into my world like that. And then he wanted to know what it says. Like, we want aggressive guitars. We're not getting aggressive guitars. He'd be like, what does aggressive mean to you? And be like, that's a great question.
Right.
So, he'd get into try to get into our heads a bit. And he smashed it out of the park with Lavos, which was, massively assisted by all the energy of Mick Gordon being added to it. Yeah. Because that went so well. Then we just sent him another WhatsApp message like, you want to do the rest of the album? He was like, yeah. That was easy. Yeah. let's do the whole record. Go on.
Yeah, because your drums too, just like they pop out of the speakers. Like they're explosive. It's insane.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting. We self-engineered the drums at the beginning with a local engineer. We didn't have George at that point, so we chose how to record it to see what would happen, and then it worked out well. And we just decided to replicate that setup over and over again for 4 different recording sessions. So we kept coming with a few more songs. We'd set up again, do a couple more songs. Then another month later, we'd come up, do some more writing, go up into the recording room and set it all up again with minor changes, so it all has a congruent sound because it's all the same, for the most part, the same mics in the same places, just tweaked every time.
Yeah, same drums.
Yeah, but because it was COVID, we were only writing a few songs at a time, and it didn't start becoming an album until after the first or second session. We were just recording tunes, seeing what happened, throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks until an album starts to form itself, the themes start to come together. So we did Animus and Dead Nest before we did that, and now we've done Nefarious, and I don't know, we might do some more singles before the next album starts to kind of show itself. That way we can let the but I think the concept wagon is strong this time, so I think we have a strong concept for the next one ready to go, so I don't think more singles are likely to happen in between now and the next one. But I was really happy with the drum sound. However, I feel like we've really knocked it out the park with the new single Nefarious, because we did those drums. George actually tracked us. He set up the mics his way in Middle Farm, and it was like, oh man, this is how I've always wanted to sound.
Yeah, exactly, right? Working with George at Middle Farm Studios, that's a dream right there.
So we're looking at doing a month there, maybe.
Oh,
and
that'd
actually,
be amazing.
we're thinking about for the first time, actually, because whenever we learn the songs for tour and we start jamming them, shit starts happening where we start falling into each other's pockets and modifying our parts a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we're like, shit, we should have done that for the album. So this time we're going to try and I don't think we could completely write the songs like we would do before, but we're definitely gonna come in with it, and then we're gonna jam it, and then we're gonna record it.
Yeah.
So, and we've never done that before, so that will be fun.
Yeah, always just kind of wrote it, learned your parts, go into the studio.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, we learn our parts as we write it. Then when we record it, we fuck stuff up, and that becomes the final. And then like a year later, we're like, how do we play that again? And then we start doing it, and new shit starts happening, and we get really into it, and we're like, damn it, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even like I find after the album's done and you start rehearsing like for a tour or anything like that, you change your parts a little bit. And like we just did a US tour in May where we were playing one new song, and I realized I play it so much differently. Like I'm accenting different parts, and like I actually figured it out. And then I listened to the album again. No, we just released a new song today, actually, that song we were playing. And it was like, I play this so much differently now.
Yeah, memory will really fuck with you, won't it?
Yeah, I was like, I like how I play it live now. Can we change this?
Yeah.
But it's already released, so well.
I like to change the parts up all the time. I like to let it develop. I kind of feel like you have to abandon creativity and just commit to something when you record it. But that doesn't mean it can never change again afterwards. I really like to improvise anyway, so I'm like, let's just let it keep forming. So every night is a bit different.
Yeah, I'm huge on improvising fills and stuff like that. Keep the parts that need to be kept the way they are, so it doesn't throw everyone off.
Yeah.
Some nights I get carried away, but
yeah,
you know,
it's the way, man. But
yeah.
I realized it's kind of like the temptation as the player is to show them the sequel before they, and for some of them haven't seen the original film, so you got to kind of know your audience. Like, so I sometimes will read if Andy asks the crowd how many of you know of Monuments based on the percentage of people that have raised their hand. If it's a very low percentage that have heard of us before, then I'm going to try and show him it more from the first time round. But if it's a headline show and everyone knows that song, I might give him a little tweak into like the future parts, you know.
Okay,
but because it's all just, you know, it's all down to my boredom, really, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's like I want to play around with something different, and I'm like the one person who doesn't want to hear it the way it was. And then what, is there 1,000 people that would benefit better from hearing it the first way? Like, what if I lost faith in that first part? Like, I'm the one who matters least in that moment, but I still have to be happy with it. So it's every day. It's like, what am I doing here? Like, I want to have fun. And I remember when I rejoined the band, our old guitarist Ollie, he would like, when I started playing I the Creator, I was playing it so differently. He was like, "Can you just play it like the fucking album?" I was like, "Okay, I want to." And he had a point, you know. He's like, people didn't come to hear you fuck around; they came to hear the song. And to an extent, they like to see a cool fill, but like, you gotta like find that balance, you know, tread that line, very thin line, very carefully.
Yeah. Now, have you recorded every full-length record with Monuments?
Not the third one. That was an Oops Astry, because that's when I was having my 5-year injury hiatus. But yeah, I did the first two. The first one's mostly programmed. We recorded it like kicks separately, then snare and toms separately, then cymbals separately, because we love the whole, like, you know, blend the room more or less with this one, you know, treat the mics differently and everything, have a full cymbal array for the cymbals. But then we had internal issues, and for one reason or another, we only had a partial amount of the recordings. We only had the rooms from the snare and tom recording, and then we just had all the cymbals. So we had to program. I had to program all the snare hits to match the snare hits from the rooms. So it's natural room with fake close mic. It's the wrong way around.
Yeah.
And then all the
100%.
kicks are programmed. There's no close mics of any kicks. And then all the cymbals are natural, except for one stack we added to the very beginning of Blue Sky Thinking. Because the part had changed to have more stacks in the intro beforehand. Anyway, well, the second album's fully live at we did that with Ramesh Dodangota at Mono Valley Studios, which is now shut down, but that was one of the legendary Rockfield Welsh studios in Monmouthshire. That was sick. That was really
so
good.
when you do you guys ever play stuff off the third record that
we'll be doing a tune off that tonight.
Do you find that you've changed a lot from what he played, or did you learn like all his parts like as close to it as possible.
He played the programming as close as possible, and the guys weren't used to that. The guys were used to do the programming, and then the drummer will do their thing over the top of it.
Right.
But Anoop pretty much respected the programming one-to-one, as far as I've heard. So it's like, I've just done what I would do, but Anoop was just like the real version of the programming.
Yeah.
But I've then done my own thing with it to the point where I can't really remember exactly what it was that Anoop did. But I've made my own little changes to make it, to Malyanify it. But I've also respected some of his moves, like some of the consistent cymbal moves he makes in the end of the breakdown. I really enjoy living in that world. I like to be a bit of a chameleon, you know, take someone else's energy and morph it into mine, as opposed to come at 100% Mike. I'm way more inspired by that collaborative process than I am by walking my own path.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the band that I joined, and like I just did this this upcoming record with them. But we, for the last like 2 years, have been playing all stuff that I didn't record.
Right.
So I listen to the song, I get the song in my head, and then I just do whatever I want.
Nice.
I've completely changed parts and
Perfect.
songs. Like, I like this way better. And they're all for it. They're like, yeah, we love what you did with the song. Sick.
It breaks
So-
them out of demoitis too. And
Yeah.
it's like Matt Halpin taught me once, like, learn the song perfectly on a steering wheel and then get behind the kit. And trust that
Nice.
you've done the work to go from steering wheel to kit in many different ways, and then go be surprised by what comes out. And I find that that self-surprise of what's happening is part of the fun. And the fun is what makes the track a bit more special. The happy accidents, the things that make it happen. I don't like to, like, I used to need to do it the exact way every time at first. I think everyone has to get past that phase before they can start, like, making up their own stuff. But
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah. I know we are
a little short on time.
A little
I've
short
probably
on
got about
time
10 odd
due to
minutes
the-
before I start warming up and play, because I'm on stage in 40.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I need about half an hour to do some star jumps, pretend to warm up.
pretend to warm up. Yeah. Just
shout-
do a
shout
couple
along.
push-ups.
It's mostly physical warming up. It's star jumps, it's walking, it's stretching, it's sometimes drinking. I think today it's going to be lots of alcohol-free beer and sugar-free Red Bull.
Yeah,
which together
apparently.
we've called a Shandy Sizik.
Shandy Sizik. There you go. So I did want to touch on your educational path that
Cool.
you're kind of on with the Malyan Drum Academy.
Yes, that's the one.
So I checked it out. It's like seems super sick, man. The way that you have things set up seems very intuitive to how drummers really learn. You can take it at your own pace, kind of deal, and the way that you like break down all the monument songs and everything like that. But do you want to just like talk about it? Let everyone know kind of what's going on with everything you got.
So
going?
it's kind of like I'm now looking at it as kind of a bit of a beta release. I thought it was like a master, like fully finished thing, but like when you do anything, you learn as you go. So what I discovered was that the way that I would actually release content I couldn't keep up with my original goals of wanting to do a new course every month, and that meant that the subscription model that I'd chosen is kind of a poor fit for it. So I'm actually quite critical of it as a product. I believe in the course. The courses that are on there, I think they're fantastic, but I think it hasn't. I know what I want it to become, and I'm working pretty like tirelessly in my back end time. Whenever I have days off on tour, I'm editing videos from that and building a bit of a new web design to make it more like, if you want to achieve this particular skill set, you know where the start and end point of that is, as opposed to a perpetual kind of thing. I think that's a better offering. So I'm probably my own worst critic with these kinds of things, but as I say, pardon me, the Shandy Sizik's coming up the roost. But I'm doing that course was really cool. But I think I've realized that the benefit of learning this the thing that I can teach the best, rather than doing it on the kit, is actually to do it off the kit, to focus on the programming skill, because that's where you have to live to work out the parts to then take them to the kit. And I've been spending my whole career trying to teach people on the kit, and I've started to realize, hang on, there's nothing to be worried about trying to show them how to do it inside the DAW, because you can get very visual with it. You can show that through, and the best part of it is I can teach the playing drummers, aka the guitarists, the songwriters.
They're the ones that really
They're the ones that
it.
need the help to program the stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the new offering is going to be primarily focused on guitarists and drummers as a group to help them together, because it's all a digital instrument with booster packs for the real drummers who then want to mechanicalize and learn the muscle memory of it.
Yeah.
But we'll teach the concepts of why drummers do what they do through programming. Because I've been doing that quietly in one-on-one lessons, and just through word of mouth, I must have garnered about 20, 30 different one-on-one students over the last 6 months or so, and it's so much fun. They come to me with their music, we strip the drums away, and I show them how to analyze accents and how to read parts, and what is the mathematical rule that we're going to pick to turn your music into a drum pattern. How do we make it 3D as opposed to the difference between overlaying cool beat over cool riff and riff with tension points and patterns that you can do can become something cool. Why do you do cymbal accents? How do you build fills? And like, how is the timing working in the micro level versus the macro level? The course that's already on the website focuses on that polymetric, like micro versus macro, but it only does it in one very specific point for one very specific point in a player's journey where they've already nailed double pedal, and it's like, it's so niche that it's kind of like a non-starter in terms of an online product it basically is just self-sustaining because of the cost of the resources to run it is as much as the people who bring it in. So it was like such a huge learning curve, but I refused to take it down because I felt like it had failed. I thought, rather than that, it hasn't failed. Some people are really enjoying this. Yeah. So let's just, but it's not, it can't become what I want it to become yet. But just I've fallen into the programming thing, and I haven't seen anyone else doing it. So I've really been mastering that in the one-on-one world, and now I'm planning to do a thing where it comes out and you get one-on-one time with me that then bounces to a specific part of the course. They do that, they do their homework, I come back, we listen to it, and the homework is in their song, and then they go back and do the next part, and that way I can adjust the course to their liking. They can get some FaceTime and spend like a bunch of hours on the actual material, which frees up my time and gives them the benefit of that, because sometimes it can get a bit repetitive doing the same things over and over again in one-on-one. Once I realized what those were. So I'm really excited about that. I don't have a release date for it yet, but I have all the material, and I'll put it out when it's ready. But I do a few too many things, and I want to do them well, so it might take a while. And anyone who's subscribed to Malyan Drum Academy so far, if I move away from the subscription model, everyone who's been involved is going to get a dynamic discount of a fair way to... If it's going to be a singular priced unit, I'm going to honor what people have given me to keep the thing rolling no matter what, because I'm really grateful to the people who have jumped on my journey, but it's a niche journey and I want to open it up more. Yeah, definitely.
It definitely like it kind of caters to more towards the progressive side of things, obviously.
It always will,
progressive drummer and everything. And so you use a specific program for all your drum writing and everything like that, right?
Kind of, yeah. I use Cubase mainly. It's my DAW of choice.
Yeah, but
there's Beat Scholar as well.
Beat Scholar.
Yeah. I use that to demonstrate. Yeah, you saw that advertising.
A video of you kind of is like a 30-minute video of you like showing and breaking it down, and it's incredible.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Yeah, it really like kind of like shows you like how to do like run like a polymeter and everything like that, and you know, like a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write this like polyrhythmic riff and everything, but don't know like anything about timing or bar structure or anything like that. So this kind of like really breaks it down for you, and you can see it in real time.
It's the visual aspect of it. Like, my brain has developed the way to work like that has, like Modalics, it's the same for them, and then they've created this plugin that can sequence in that displaced way, and I'm actually working with them to develop it into a way where it can do 4/4 over the displacement inside one version of the plugin instead of in two. They're talking about bringing that functionality in. I'm like working with them on some new plugins they've got coming out. There's a massive thing they've got coming out soon that I'm working on my off time as well on the road. Yeah. So they're supporting me massively, and I'm supporting them and their journey. Their Discord is so cool. The Modalics, like the way that people are writing there, I think they're gonna change a lot about how we write stuff. And a big problem with the theory side of time, no one wants to learn it because it's outdated. The way that we learn theory is based in how music was originally made. And for Western music, it's great, but for polymetric, 1/2/3 with added game of switch this, switch that, switch the other.
Yeah.
There's no way to visualize that because something's going to go over a bar line that's going to break up the beaming and it's going to stop you from seeing it naturally. But Beat Scholar, I can get behind that. I used to enjoy reading. The dots on. I read the dots on the piano roll better than I've ever read anything else.
Yeah.
I program drums with in the melodic notation of the piano roll rather than the drum grid.
Yeah.
I like the look of that more. It's just because I like the look of note lengths. I think it's very important because.
It is, yeah.
And you want to be thinking about like when is a guitar note actually being muted? Do you mute something with it? Do you play with that mute? The mutes have rhythms too. The silence has rhythms.
Yeah.
And it's like there's just so much going on. It's like there's so many opportunities there. So to look at it a bit more fractally, I think new tools like that really, really interest me. I want to make my own notation software. I want to standardize what it is I've learned for everyone else because it feels so natural to me. And people love to watch my output. They say that the fills are super crazy, and what is that one fill? But it's like, it's a micro construction of 10, 11 different random things. But I could tell you what the game is that's happening in that moment, why it's built the way it's built, and then you've taught them how to fish. They can then go fish,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to do more than anything. And if I can pull that off, I'll be so happy. I'm so passionate about that. But I'm my own biggest critic, and
Of course, yeah.
I always have it in my head bigger than it is in the real world. But thank you so much
Yeah.
for saying what you said about it. I don't mean to be like, hey, thanks, you liked it. I hate it, but
I hate it, but yeah,
Yeah, it's
No,
like-
it was just extremely interesting, and like just the way you broke everything down and talking about it, like it piqued my interest because I'm a very like caveman type drummer, like double
You
kick,
just get in.
blast beats, get in, get
yeah,
out.
there are the
know?
set parts. You
So-
go in and you overlay them. You give them, and then people play stuff over the top, and they don't particularly link in. It's not quite the same as like, okay, you're playing a high note on that particular 16th note. But you do throw an extra like ride bell accent there sometimes, or a crash.
yeah.
And it's if you count the space between the two of those accents and then look at that, how many notes were between the two, that if you can then get polymetric in your mind about what happened in that space and start to think about the spaces between accents and the pressure points in between, that's the beginning of that whole new step. And you're kind of doing it already. It's very uncaveman. It's just 4/4 takes priority over what that micro construction would be. But it's the micro construction that makes the music interesting.
Yeah.
And the more we can go down that path, the more we can naturalize that, the more fun it gets. And everyone wants that output sound. It's like everyone's trying to build a house of cards from the top down, and they're wondering why it doesn't look like a strong, stable house of cards. It's got to come from the bottom up. It's got to come from like
absolutely,
like, and then you can flip the focus of what meter it is, or flipping it around. It's just, but you say the word polymeter and people go, no, nerd, not interested. But they're like, you want to play like that, right? Like, come on, let's get nerdy.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about. I know it's scary. I'll help.
It is,
Yeah,
man.
but thank you so much, man. Yeah, so there's 2 videos actually with Medallics. You can check out the other one as well, and it develops on the themes of the first one. So there's another 20, 30-minute long video that's just come out. And there will be more. I'll keep doing more. I'll keep doing stuff on my own channels. And there's also a how to gent video I put up on my own channel of like,
Oh, nice.
kind of also same kind of thing from a slightly different angle. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to stay committed to that for a while.
Sick, awesome. Okay, we gotta hurry along here. We got one last thing. We had
Let's hit
a viewer question come in, and I figured we can quickly maybe give him some tips on this.
Let's do it.
So this is a drummer. I won't say his name.
Okay.
But he's out of New Hampshire in the U.S.
Okay.
And he is without a practice space. Haven't had one for 5 or 6 years. Can't play. He claims he can't play in a band without playing on a live kit. He does have kick and hand pads to practice on, and he can't afford an e-kit. Practice spaces are too expensive and too far away for him, and he's asking if there are any tips or ideas.
Well, we as drummers have to be able to develop our craft while on the way to the studio eventually. It always happens. Most of the stuff I do is, we were talking about this before, about nailing the part on a steering wheel before you take it onto the kit. That's very much the school of thought we want to get into. So if we can analyze a song that we want to play along with from a band, start with covering a band that you love, that you wish you played for, and if we can hear out, for example, like a riff that's like dun dun da 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 da, just a simple riff, but then if we can like we can play that in lots of different ways. Either kicks on din din dan 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 on din dan 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 dan. This is that kind of note on, note off pressure thing, or snare snare kick snare snare snare. Turn that into a rudiment. Make it binary. Keep it binary. A's and B's only. Change what A and B do, but don't make it a multi-part thing. Don't give yourself anything more than 2 parts. Yeah. Just kicks and snares, or hands and feet, or tom 1 and tom 2, whatever it is. You can then start to create ternaries and go from there. But let that be the improv that happens once you finally get it onto a kit. Once you've thought about it for 10 hours and you can finally get 20 minutes with it, you're ready to go. You've got all these things ready to go. But you do need to just jam a lot of stuff to be able to then try stuff out on the kit. But that's what I love about programming, is that you can plan it out. You can use a laptop and you can draw out the notes and you can go, that's what I want it to sound like. And then you can listen to that 1,000 times if you want. And by that point, you're probably going to be pretty close to playing it. If you've really visualized it, if you've really internalized it. That's what I do when I write something. When I wrote Lavos on pre-production, I wasn't good enough to play it. I had to listen to it 100 times and then try and work out those techniques. And that's what made it work. So that's my biggest advice, is find a way to use the digital tools to your advantage. And if they are feeling like too difficult to work with, well, part of my plan with the website is to have a programming lesson, how to do programming, and then even more basic theory, basic theoretical terms, so that then the programming even makes sense. Get the terminology down, some basic systems, only the useful shit, none of the fucking Italian named stuff that only makes sense if you're trying to learn a concerto. Let's just stick to what we need to learn. But see what that does for your mind, see what that does for your playing. Try to come up with something off the kit, and I'm a bit OCD with my brain. It wants to chug rhythms all the time nowadays. It's always ticking over on something, and I'm always tapping something out. And now my brain, even while I'm saying this, is trying to work out a bunch of ways to do that as a fill. I might even try to work a fill out of the set. Or is it da 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 da? So 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. So did it get it, and then we could pick a center part of that and then start to loop it out. Or whatever the fuck we want to do. If I do it, if I could see you, I'll be like, hey, it's that. Because it's kind of like, that's then the music is becoming more. Not to show off and be like, yeah, I can do anything I want with any little piece of music. I can only do it because I've spent so much time doing it. But I just like to demonstrate where that process can get you to. And I feel like it's becoming in my head a standardized process that I can teach. It's replicatable. I could probably program it into like something with behavioral learning, and it would probably sound just like me at this point. I might not do that because then I'd be out of a job, but I might. I don't know. If I want to stop doing it, I'll just be like, cool, no one will know, but I've just... Anyways, I'm afraid that's all I'm going to have time for. I'm going to have to start jumping up and down like a lunatic very soon.
Absolutely, man. Well,
it's
Mike,
been an absolute pleasure, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, man. And we'll have to do part 2 sometime.
I'd be well into that. Yeah, let's get some more questions in. If there are more viewer questions, anyone, if you've had a thought about this as we've been going, like, let us know. We'll have a chat. We'll keep it going. I love to keep the conversation going. Write me, DM you, everything. Let's keep the chat going. Keep drumming. Keep having fun. Don't give up. It's going to be all right. We're going to get this.
There you go.
Nice one, dude. Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to the We're Talking Drums podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then make sure to follow us on Instagram at We're Talking Drums and share with your friends. Also check out our Patreon for bonus content and early episodes.